Have you ever had a song idea that felt so brilliant in the moment, and then as soon as it arrives, it disappears? Or maybe you've stumbled across an old voice memo and you suddenly found yourself right back inside the song, even though you had completely forgotten that it ever existed. Well, today we're talking about what to do when inspiration arrives, why song ideas can be so fleeting, and how to capture them before they slip away. Welcome to Singer-Songwriter, a space to reconnect with your voice, your music, and the songs waiting to be written. I'm Lainey, singer and songwriter, voice and creativity coach. If you've ever dreamed of writing and singing your own songs, but doubt or perfectionism keeps getting in the way, then grab that notebook full of ideas. It's time to open your voice, trust your sound, and express yourself freely. Your songs are waiting. Let's bring them to life. Hey friend, before we dive in, if you are enjoying these conversations about singing and songwriting and creativity and the artist's journey, I would love to invite you to join my email list. Each week I share additional reflections, creative insights, behind the scenes thoughts from my own songwriting process, and of course the latest podcast episodes. So you can join the newsletter at reawakenyourvoice.com/insider. Once again, that's reawakenyourvoice.com/insider. Now let's get into today's episode. So last week we talked about finding inspiration, what it looks like to prepare the soil for your creative work. But that also brings up the question, what happens when inspiration actually arrives? Like, what do we do with a lyric or a melody or a phrase, maybe a song title, or just the idea as it initially sparks? Lately, I've found myself recording little snippets of my daily life, not as song ideas per se, but just these little moments that carry some life and feel so real and so alive to me right now. So I recorded the birds singing in my backyard, and I recorded my son walking up to the piano and just playing a few notes. And I recorded a melody that came to me while doing dishes, and I was using the dishes and the water as percussion. And my sons were playing with a toy that made sound, and that brought on some new perspective on, where song ideas can really come from. So it's all these little moments that feel so real to me. Like, I am in the throes of motherhood, and I have these precious little ones. I'm caring for our home. So, piles of laundry and mud puddles and bubbles and train sounds, train whistles are all at the forefront and so alive to me. So that's what I am recording and capturing in my voice memos. But while I was doing that, I also went back and listened to some of my old voice memos, some unfinished song ideas, and something really fascinating happened. And it's not the first time it's happened, where I listened back to an old recording and I realized I could almost predict where the melody wanted to go next. Not because I consciously remembered the song idea, because I didn't. I forgot that this even existed. But the moment that I pushed play, after scrolling backwards a few months, I felt like I reconnected with the same creative wavelength where the song originated. Like I was listening to it and I was right back in that pocket of inspiration. Like the conversation had just been paused and I pressed unpause, and it's like this song idea and I picked up right where we left off. Like we didn't miss a beat. We just kept on dancing. And that is the magic of inspiration, of song ideas. Sometimes they arrive and they disappear so quickly. It's like, oh, if I could only catch the end of that thread and pull it back to me. And sometimes we don't even realize that it's the foundation of a future song. We forget all about it. And when we return to it, it's like we never left. It's right there waiting for us. Like it had been developing underground, like a seed that was already planted and had been underground, under the soil in the darkness. And we forgot until that moment it burst through the soil, opened up, and started to bloom. So today I want to talk about how inspiration can often be so fleeting and how to capture these song ideas before they're lost. I want to talk about what happens to ideas after they're recorded and why revisiting old song seeds can be so valuable. And I also want to touch on how songs can evolve from that first spark to something completely different. So let's begin with this truth that I have been remembering. And it's that inspiration has a lifespan. Ideas arrive unexpectedly. We don't know when they're going to show up or when they're going to land and demand that we carry them further in that moment. You know, some ideas this past week, I went to record them and they were already gone. I went to write them down and it had already flown away. But other ones I was able to capture, and who knows if they'll become something or not. But it's the gathering, it's the gathering. And going back through these old recordings, I realized some of them are dead. Some of them, I don't even know what I was thinking or what they were leading me to. I don't know what I was feeling in the moment that urged me to press record in my voice memos. But I still trust that they served some purpose in, the creative journey, shall we say, the creative process. But some of them still carried life. They were still pulsing. They still carried a beat. They were still breathing. And those are the ones that I could pick up and play with and explore and see what about them was still alive. But you don't know in the moment which of these will become something more. So yes, inspiration has a lifespan, and these ideas can arrive, while we're driving or in the shower or folding laundry or during a walk in nature or just right when we're on the edge of sleep. So the challenge isn't having the ideas, but when they arrive, we have to capture them. We have to catch them, hold on to them, because inspiration is so fleeting, or it can be. And if we assume that we're going to remember this idea, there's a good chance that we won't. I'll speak for myself. I won't. Because like I said, these song ideas can disappear just as quickly as they arrive. So what helps when these arrive is to record them in voice memos. A very simple way to just capture the idea. And this has been one of the most important songwriting habits that I have developed, is catching the idea without judging it to be something worthy or something not worthy, but just capturing the idea, recording it and saving it, and going back through them later to see what is even there. Often I forget what I recorded very quickly. So going back brings me right back to where I was. So this brings me to the point that when the idea arrives, capture it, record it on a voice memo, jot down those lyrics, whatever it is. But the main thing is, don't decide yet whether the idea is good enough, or try to think of what it's going to become before it becomes something. Just collect it without judgment. And you don't even need to know yet what role that will play in terms of the song or the stepping stones to the song. Just gather it, collect it, and hold it. Because that little piece of a song or idea, that can become the foundation of a beautiful song. Months down the road, years down the road even. Capture it and hold on to it. Because these songs are working underground. Yeah, I think that's the next point I want to make, is that song ideas keep working underground. I call them song seeds for a reason. You know, we plant them in the soil, maybe forget about them all year, and then they start to crack through and we remember, yes, we're right back where we were when we planted that seed. This has been so fascinating for me recently. It's something that I've known, but it just feels so present in my process right now. Sometimes we capture an idea and then we completely forget about it. And then months later, we return to it, and somehow something about it still feels alive. And maybe the next lyric appears, or the next melody appears, or the next verse, or the next section of the song. Like, it continues to unfold. And that's because the idea has continued working beneath the surface. And this isn't a conscious thing. It's a creative thing. As you're living your life, you are experiencing things. You are you are adding to the creative well and stirring those experiences and words and phrases and melodies and visuals and images and language, all of it together. Everything that you've been experiencing throughout that time, it becomes part of that raw material that will eventually unfold into a song, or not, or become the stepping stone for something else. And what's needed in that moment is trust. Trust that we've planted the seed, let nature do its thing, and we will see something come of it. Something else I've been noticing lately is how songs evolve. I've been playing with this song idea for months now, and its working title is Come to the Water. But I'm still seeing how it may evolve into something else. I recently listened back to an old version of the song from months ago, and it's the moment when that first initial spark of inspiration hit. And now, months down the road, The song has already evolved, but it's not finished yet. It's far from finished. But I heard that initial spark, and it reminded me of where that came from, where that inspiration hit, and kind of sent me back in time a little bit. When I listened back to that earlier version of the song that I'm kind of playing with right now, this Come to the Water idea, when I listened back to that early version, I realized it was in a different key than I'm playing with right now. It was using a different accompaniment instrument. I started it on guitar, and then now I'm playing with it on piano. But something about how I did it on guitar brought up that initial spark. And I was using some lyrics in that first version about skipping stones, and I had forgotten about the skipping stones imagery. And so I want to bring that back. I mean, these are scattered reflections. But what I want to say here is that the song you start with may not be the song you end with. And that's okay. And that's part of the process. And that's often how it happens. You start somewhere and then it turns into something else. But you never could have gotten there had it not started where it did. I just love the creative process, don't you? But another really cool thing is when you capture that initial spark, that original spark of inspiration, if you capture it and hold on to it, even if you put it aside, it's like a time capsule where later on in the creative process, you can revisit that. And it may have something there for you to bring the whole song full circle. And it also may just remind you of how far you've come and where it started and where it ended and how cool is this process. But here's what I want to highlight for you. Don't lose touch with the original spark. Because while songs do evolve, there can be something so valuable in those early recordings. Maybe it's a lyric, like the Skipping Stones for me. Maybe it's an image. Maybe it's a feeling. For me, the feeling shifted with a key change, an instrument change. Something about that stirred up something in me. Almost like I remembered a piece of the song's identity. Sometimes revisiting that original inspiration can reveal something, like a clue that you need later, or something worth bringing back, something that helps the song come full circle. So when you sense that original spark, release any judgment, whether it's good enough, whether it has what it takes to become something. Let go of all of that and just know there's something there. Capture it, hold on to it. Whether that's recording something in your voice memos, scribbling down some lyrics. Capture it in your own way, but hold on to it. Because inspiration does have a lifespan, and you don't know how long that life is going to be. Some may fade away, and that's okay. Some may keep on pulsing years later. Because these song ideas, they keep working underground, subconsciously, effortlessly, as you live your life. These ideas are percolating. And know that songs evolve. It may become something completely different than what it started as. But don't lose touch with that original spark. even if it's just to see how different the ending is from the beginning. Or it may hold something valuable, some kind of clue about the song that you may forget about through the process. So here's something that you can try today when it comes to capturing these ideas before they slip away. Open your voice memos or your songwriting notebook or your notes app, wherever you carry your ideas, your song inspiration, and find one forgotten song idea. Just one. Focus on one. Listen to it or read it or let it wash over you. And just sit with it for a few minutes. And ask yourself, what originally drew me to this idea? Like, what feeling was I trying to capture? And is there a clue here that I missed the first time? Or is there anything about it that still feels alive? And then spend 10 minutes exploring it. You're not forcing it, not trying to finish it, but you're just listening and seeing if it has anything more for you that wants to be revealed. Or if there's a lesson in there or a reflection about where you were when you recorded it and where you are now. Maybe it's taking on a new meaning, a different meaning altogether. Maybe it feels just as real and alive to you as it did when it first arrived. And you can just hop right on board and ride that train. Songwriting isn't just about having ideas. Oftentimes that can be the easy part if they just come to us. But it's about learning how to recognize the song ideas and capture them and care for them, steward them. To be a good steward of the idea means to hold on to it, care for it, nurture it, give it space when it needs space, give it some watering and sunlight when it needs those things. But our job is to pay attention and notice and gather and capture these ideas, because you never know which of these small little sparks of inspiration may eventually grow into a song worth finishing. Thanks for listening, friend. If this episode moved you or inspired you in some way, would you please leave a review on Apple Podcasts or share this episode with someone who's been praying for a vocal breakthrough? Until next time, keep nurturing that song in your heart. Lots of love.